to our very new show, This Is Me. And don't get fooled about the title, because this is not about me. It's going to be about our special guest today, Pamm Edwards, and you, the audience, who hopefully are going to leave the show feeling empowered and exhilarated, and will help us grow our audience. So, how exciting, Pamm! You are our first guest.
I know, that's kind of special.
It is
So it's
very
like, a
special.
year from now when you celebrate your 1 year anniversary, I was there. And congratulations to your inaugural video.
Thank you. I'll share with my coffee, tingling. So I'm going to tell the audience a little bit about you, Pamm. So Pamm is a special friend. It's not a friend of many, many years. We met more recently in time, but sometimes it's the best meeting because people correspond to who we are a lot more as we age. And Pamm and I, we clicked right away. Not only do we both enjoy life and we are lucky to be born with a happy nature, but we both pursue the same dream to help people live a happier life, a more healed life. So that connected us right away. And Pam is the author of a book that really impacted me. I read it 2 times, and it's not your typical self-help book. It's really unique. It's called Life Repair Toolkit, and you can find it on Amazon, and you can find it, of course, on liferepairtoolkit.com. What's special about that book is that it really is about emotion and feelings, like most self-help book, but it's also very scientific. Pam will tell you more about that because I'm not that good about science. But I was fascinated as I was going through it because it really felt like you have a lot of good reviews on your website about the book. And one of them I thought nailed it, saying, you are not stuck. You just use your old tools from the past that are no longer working. And what Pam is providing is a new life repair toolkit where you just pick up very, very useful tools to stop living a struggling life and actually celebrating life. So that's what we have in common. We do not believe we have to struggle. Life is not easy, it's full of ups and downs, but with the right tools, the right way of thinking, and putting the effort in the right direction, we can celebrate life and have more ups than downs. And that's what we're going to be doing with This Is Me. So, Pam, please tell us more about you.
Well, I actually started out in psychology and then I took a philosophy course, and that really answered the questions that psychology was not answering. So I ended up getting my degree from Smith College in philosophy, and then I also have a heavy emphasis in physics. So that combination of psychology, philosophy, and physics is like throughout the book.
Please show us the
Yeah,
book a little bit more. I want to see the book a little bit more. Yes, the Life Repair Toolkit. And you have a real toolkit. If you read the book, and you hope you're going to read the book, it exists in audio as well on your website. I love audio. You put it in your car, anywhere, in your shower, and it's so much easier.
and there are worksheets in the back, but you're really meant to go to the website and download the worksheets. It's so much better if you do it that way. You'll get more out of it, but download the worksheets and definitely do them. I know nobody likes homework, but I absolutely guarantee if you do the homework and make it about you, this is me, and this book is about me. And when you read it, it needs to be about you doing your work because you can't fix anybody else. I absolutely guarantee it will work.
So I have done the worksheet several times, and I
Yeah.
find them so interesting. Actually, I am always excited to do them. You do them only when you're experiencing something during the day that is kind of bizarre. You met someone, you experience an event, and you don't feel so good. You come home and you feel angry, you feel sad. Something is bothering you, and you take one of those wonderful worksheets and you just simply answer all the brilliant questions that Pam has come up with, and you just answer. She asks you one word, You cannot write paragraph and paragraph. It's just like one or two words, maybe one sentence for each little question. And through that template, you arrive to the answer. By the end, you start angry, you start sad, you start frustrated. And by the end of the worksheet, you feel enlightened. You feel like, oh, I got it. I got why I feel this way. I got why that person may have done what they have done to me. And you
Mhm.
feel the answer and you feel truly better. So I really swear by them. And they are unique. Those I've never seen in any other self-help books. So I congratulate you for that. How did you come up with those worksheets?
Oh, golly, honestly, decades of experience. Just trial and error in my own life, searching, researching for anything that would work. And I would try something. And if I liked it, I integrated it. And if I didn't like it, okay, next. So just a whole bunch of trial and error with what, and then honing it down to what worked for me, not just once, but consistently. And then after about 15 years of kind of living it, it occurred to me, how dare I be selfish? I could be sharing this with others. I could, give others access to spare themselves the years of research and trial and error. I could just give them, hey, here's what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest part of that has been owning what's mine instead of blaming others for everything that's gone wrong in your life. It's all of my feelings are my own and all of my thoughts are my own. All anybody on the outside can do is trigger that, and they trigger it for the purpose of showing me what I can work on.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything, I should be thanking people who upset me or make me sad or avoid me at a party or whatever you want to say, because they're giving me an opportunity to heal myself. And the book
Right.
came out of my own experience and really wanting to give back and help others not have to go through the years of struggle that I went through.
So you said key elements in which I believe entirely. Um, I'm a strong believer that all of us came here on this planet, no matter what you believe in, where we come from, it doesn't really matter. I'm a strong believer we are all here for a purpose. We are all here with talent, at least one talent. Some of us have many talents, but at least one talent that the world needs and you need to share with the world. It would be really selfish
Mhm.
actually to keep it for yourself and lonely,
Yeah.
and what would be the point, right? But if you share it with the world and you see people actually benefiting from your great skill selling or being a great customer service or a great writer or a great mentor, whatever it is that you do, or beautiful paintings, or you're a great cinematographer, you share your talent and you see how it impacts others, and that makes you happy. So we both believe in that. We are both here to help you, the audience, through this series, through This Is Me. We are here to shine the light on the beauty in our lives.
Mhm.
Every day I meet people, and I see people on television, on radio. A lot of people have lost the direction or the meaning of their life. They feel sad, they feel inappreciated, they feel unimportant. They don't see their own self, they don't see other people, they don't feel seen. It's really sad because me, when I meet them, I see their beauty. I can see how interesting they are, or what they have to bring, or what's special about them. And that's my role today. I've been told, and Pam is one of them, that I'm usually pretty good at coming up with some question at the dinner table to entertain my guest. I love hosting. Well, with COVID, I didn't host that much and mostly outdoor. But usually I love hosting, I love cooking for my guests, and I love grilling them with exciting, deep, unusual question. And that's how actually Pam is more than just the first guest. She's also an inspiration to this podcast. I was in the process of developing This Is Me as a video series that you can see on my channel of Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. and Twitter. But she said to me, "Why, you're so good with your question. Why don't you do a podcast?" So we are actually shooting today as a video and as a podcast. Please bear with us. It's the first test. I think it's going pretty well. I'm very excited about it. And we're going to try to keep it as real as possible. I'm trying to avoid reshooting, just being natural, being who we are.
Yeah.
And a big part of This Is Me is actually a game. We're going to do something digging inside of us about something special in our life and in our character and in our past, through interesting questions and angles, but a game, because we should have fun in life. Nothing should be that boring and that intense and that serious. So here is the rules of This Is Me. And every week we will do a new episode. There will be a new guest and there will be a new theme. So Pam is in Sacramento, California right now, in her home, and I am in my apartment in Guadalajara, Mexico. We have 2 hours difference. I'm 2 hours ahead. And being in Mexico, I try to surround myself with as many Mexican things as possible. It's a very refined country full of beautiful art. Actually, Pam was here 2 or 3 months ago, and you loved it.
I if I can, as soon as I can move there, I will. I really loved it. Yeah.
Well,
You should point out that even though you're in Mexico, your accent is not a Mexican accent. Where does that
no,
one come from?
no, I'm afraid my accent is going to follow me until the very last day of my life. My accent is French. And although I only lived in France, in the country of France, only 8 years of my life, from the age of 12 to 20, uh, I have such a strong French personality, look, way of dressing up, and accent. So I've been in the US for over 30 years, currently in Guadalajara. But where I thought that it was easier to leave COVID-19 here. It's been a wonderful country for supporting my creativity during COVID. And this is how we get the game. So let's go back to our game and our rules. Every week, we're going to pick a topic. We don't know which topic. It's going to be a surprise. We're going to improvise to find something great about ourselves and our life on the topic we pick. And all the topics are in the head, in the skull. You know that in Mexico, they love the Day of the Dead. And I love my skull. And I think I bought it at the Lake Chapala, if I remember well. So let's go. Are you ready, Pam? You're not terrorized by improvisation. All right, let me put my little finger. Well, so that's going to be the topic for today. And I called the show This Is Me because every time I will be the guinea pig to start the show. I will say, "This is me" about that topic, and then it will be Pam. And I hope that the audience will be at the same time doing the same thing we are doing, searching for the same answers inside of yourself. So at the end of the show, all of us, Pam, you, I, everybody, we will be digging this answer and leaving the show feeling better and empowered. And please send your comments, your story, your experience through all the comments on Instagram, on the podcast, on any social media where the show is appearing. All right. Pam,
And questions too. Give Armel ideas for new questions to ask too.
Absolutely. Alaola, it will delight me to be receiving questions. So please go for it. All right, Pam. The topic for today, for episode number 1, is tell me something beautiful or great about your childhood. All right, so I have to improvise. My childhood. And we all have 1 to 2 sentences. We're authorized to 1 or 2 sentences to summarize the topic. So in that case, my childhood. And then I can only focus on something beautiful or great about my childhood. Okay, so to summarize my childhood, I will say that my childhood was very empty emotionally. There was a huge lack of emotion through my family, my parents, and I. So I deeply suffered from this lack of connection, and that's probably why I'm into the self-help world, because it fascinated me. But now, putting this apart, I had an amazing childhood. Actually, I was listening to a show the other day at the gym. I was watching to a YouTube, and they said, "What was the favorite things your parent taught you in your childhood?" And but for me, again, I didn't have the best relationship with my parents, but my parents were expatriates in Africa. They lived in Central Africa for 30 years. It was good for their career. They were making more money. They had a military career, leaving France and going to Central Africa. So me as a child, I followed them. And for the first 12 years of my life, I followed them on islands in New Caledonia, looks like a little bit like Tahiti. I followed them in Central Africa, and I had the most fascinating childhood. So maybe we were not talking about feelings, but my eyes saw so much beauty. By the age of
Mm.
4, I had crossed the world 4 times. I was in planes all the time. I was fascinated by pilot. I had crushes on pilot all the time. And at the time, it was 50 years ago. At the time, you were able to stay with the pilot in the cabin. You were able to see how they were piloting. I was fascinated. They will give me a uniform. Of course, it was way too big for me, and it was male uniform, but I was just fascinated. And they give you a little platter food in the plane. I was fascinated. And they give you little toys to play and comic books. I was in heaven between France and Africa and New Caledonia. And I met so many interesting people because my parents were in the hotel business. They were managing luxury hotel, and you will go from Bangalore on the beach in exotic location to a big hotel of 200 or 300 rooms. And all those people would pass by, and I started to entertain them. When I was 5 years old, 6 years old, I was going on the boat to entertain the guests, entertain the clients, and fish with them, and play guitar by the fire at night. And so it made me be what I am, very social, very fascinated by the world, by people, great amateur of beauty. I have grown up with people of every color, every nationality. I feel the best when I live in diversity. When I find myself traveling in places where everybody is white like me, I find that very bizarre. I feel like it's really missing something. I need to see the variety of people, the difference of culture, the difference of colors, of experience. And I owe
Mhm.
that to my parents. So my parents may not have been the best, the deepest speaker at the table. One of the reasons is that they had issue all the time between the two of them, so there was not much space left to have a happy family home life. But they did expose me to traveling, meeting people, being curious about life, being very resourceful. And I think the very first time, because of that, it gave me a lot of character. I think the first time I left home, I was 5 years old. I left with my suitcase. I was really upset at my parents, and I decided to leave my home. I said, I'm going to
How
cross
far
the
did you
world
get?
and live my own life. I'm too unhappy at home. Of course, I didn't last past
How
the
far
night.
did you get? Did
My
you get to the
mom,
corner?
my mom said she found me 2 or 3 hours later sitting on a rock with my little suitcase, and she brought me back home. So my first escape, we are 5 years old for 3 hours. And but I love this part of my childhood. Today it is so influential and so crucial to my personality. So you see, you can have a childhood that is painful and joyful. If in anything that happened to us, any childhood that happened to us, any event, any day that is bad, there is something good. And that's where Pam and I
Mhm.
are here to show you, point out, where is the good? Where is that good that
Yeah.
actually makes you feel good about your life, your past, your history, your story? And
Yeah.
that is me. That's me, Pam. And it's going
Yeah.
to be about you and the audience. Please do the same exercise in your home that you're in your car, in your home, wherever you are. Please start thinking what it is in my childhood that had such an impact on me, and make it a great story, actually.
Yeah, that you're grateful for. It's too easy
Oh,
to focus on all the negative and just get consumed by it and all that heavy energy. But this is just a wonderful idea that you have to remind people, hey, you could be putting all that energy into the wonderful things that happened too.
Mhm.
So I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are definitely the master of asking the kind of questions that really draw people out. I've so loved that about all of your little dinner parties is you'll ask a question and then we'll spend the next 45 minutes one at a time going around answering it. And it's so intense. It's such a good experience. So I look forward to watching further videos of yours. For me, great things in my childhood. I know that I'm so grateful that I have a close family and I got to spend time with my grandparents pretty routinely, my mother's side of the family and my father's side of the family. And there are so many people who either don't know their father or those grandparents are gone. I'm so grateful that I had them for years and years and years. In fact, my grandfather, my father's father, only died this past year at 106. And I know, even well into adulthood, how lucky I am to have had that opportunity. Family is really important to me, which is part of why I currently live in Sacramento. This is where my family is. You know, growing up, I spent a lot of time with my mom. My mom and I were really close. My father was working a lot, but I spent a lot of time with my mom. I have two older brothers. I don't remember a lot about them, but my mom was very supportive for my I was in marching band and she would come to all of the little marching band performances and be very supportive. So that was kind of neat, you know, and she would make back when people still sewed, she would, you know, sew outfits for me. So yeah, clothing. Yeah. So I'm really fortunate to have had that. My mom and I aren't as close now. It's kind of odd because I wasn't really close to my father that I'm aware of because he was working a lot and I was closest to my mom. But now it's kind of flipped places to where I don't spend as much time with my mom as I would like to, but my dad and I are like best pals.
So
So
somewhere in life, your personality and theirs, you found more common point. But how wonderful
yeah.
that overall you feel like you had a family. Because that's what I was missing in mine. You had a family, you were together, you met your grandparents, you spent time. You
Yeah.
how did it impact you, you think, in your personality to um, today and through your career and through your life, this family life, this closeness, how do you think it made a huge difference for you?
Well, I gotta say, I think in the end, looking back, everybody blames their parents for everything. But I actually, looking back, I had a pretty decent upbringing. I think I apparently did better than most, or maybe people just focus too much on the negative, and I have the kind of disposition that where I don't. So I feel really fortunate that I had a better upbringing than most. There were issues. There was a family member who had some mental instability, and I think that as a result of that, I wanted to make it better. And in my endeavor to make that person feel better in my childhood, I think that got carried into me wanting to help others
Hmm.
as well, which, you know, hello. So I think even though it's a bad thing that there was, you know, some kind of mental illness in my family growing up, I still spun it into a positive thing in my adult life to where I'm sure that's a part of the reason why I want to help people. I want to understand myself better. I want to help others understand themselves better and to constantly grow. I'm sure that's a part of it.
That's really the key. You see, what we're doing today may seem like very benign and very just pleasant and a good time sharing memories of our childhood, but no, no, it will be missing the point. The point is to say, how are we going to use what we just rediscovered, remembered, or just shared right now? how can you actually use that to better your day tomorrow? And maybe you're going to bring that at the table tonight when you dine with your family or your partner or a friend. Maybe you are going to remember and bring it back and monetize it. Maybe you're going to write about it. Maybe you're going to say, oh, let me incorporate that aspect in my life. The only thing I want to make sure is that you do not just talk about it and forget it and put it back in the drawer. Uh, so this is about us, and that us must exist. It must exist in the present. The past, what you
Mhm.
dig from the past, let's dig only the good and bring the good in the present so we can also use it in the future. Now, everything you haven't liked, we're going to dig it, we're going to leave it in the past. And actually, what do we do, Pam, Miss Special Toolkit? What do we do with the past that we don't like?
You examine it to see how it shaped you. You do what you can. You use the tools to heal through the emotional trauma, your attachment to your story, to the to that bad part of your upbringing that you keep retelling. You get attached to that, and it forms these really thick neural bonds. Or you can choose to do what we're doing today, which is focus on something good in your childhood or how something bad turned into something good in your adulthood. And let's make those neural bonds thicker instead. Yeah, that's what we do. We heal through the past and we use that to build a better future.
Mhm. So, should we say that life is like a movie? Our life is like a movie, and we tell ourselves stories, and we can make it a good movie or a bad movie, a
Mhm.
B movie
Yeah.
or a fascinating movie. We can really spice anything we have lived with imagination, with focusing on the better more than the worse, in adding humor, in adding wisdom, in adding healing. So I really look at life like a storytelling, and my life like chapters. And of course, some chapters are better than others, but you can have a really good book. You can write a really good
Yeah.
book no matter where you started. Um, and and you have written a beautiful book so far, both figuratively with. I know you have a new book coming.
Yeah, and it's funny because what you're going into now is one of the major topics of the second book, which is the meaning that we attach. And if the meaning that we attach to things is all negative, congratulations, that's what you're going to get more of in your life. You can change your meanings, you can change your story at any time. And when you change your story, it changes your future as well, not just your present. You can actually change how you regard something that happened in the past. You can reinterpret its meaning,
Mhm.
that it didn't have to be the horrible thing that you always said that it meant. Maybe it didn't mean that at all. And by changing the meaning, you change your emotional attachment to the past, which changes your present state. So
Yeah.
that's a big part of the second book.
So, what's the title of the second book?
The second book, I'm not as creative as you are. So the second book is going to be called Life Repair Toolkit Power Tools.
Well, I think actually it's great because it stays in the tone of what you've done. People who are used to your first book are going to go to the second one right away. When can
That's the plan. That's
when can we expect book number two?
Well, I am working on the edits now. I'm editing it, and I want to say I'll have one more run through after this, like an overview edit, because this is like the in-depth meaty edit. And then I'll do one more, and then I'll start recording the book on audio. And I will reach out about getting, a cover done and doing the paperback and the book, the ebook again on Amazon.
Well, I'm going to be one of the first one to read it, to review it. to tell me your honest opinion about it. And please promise me you will come back to the show to tell us about your new book and be grilled with another topic, because there is no free lunch. And so, Pam, what would you add to the show? Now we have done the first test together, and tell me. Give me a gift. Give me a gift of something that I can use for episode number 2 next week.
You know what I did not put in the first book that I wish I had, if I can remember. It's gone from my brain, of course. You'll have to edit this bit.
No, I want it real. So
yeah, I'm not thinking about it right now. Yeah, just, I mean, what we've been, the very point of your video cast is to focus on the good things in your life, because they are there. Even if you've been trapped in a dungeon your entire life, good things have happened to you. Mm-hmm. And acknowledge them and be grateful, because putting that gratitude out into the world is going to bring more of that back to you. Mm-hmm. So there's always something you can be grateful for. There really is always something you can be grateful for.
Well, the thing I'm the most thankful for today is to have you on the show, to have shot our first episode. What an exciting adventure. And I can't wait to receive comments from the audience. So now you can tell us, this is me, and you tell us, this is you. What is it? What have you lived in your childhood? Where should we shine the light on? And please share it by comments, by any way you want on any social media. Pam, I want to thank you so much. I'm so glad you are not just a passage guest, but you're also a friend, and we'll talk very soon. Best of luck finishing editing your book, and we'll make another date in the next 2 to 3 months when it's ready to come out. So the audience can be the first one to know about it. So where can we find your book again?
LifeRepairToolkit.com. And you can also find regular posts on Facebook under the same name, Life Repair Toolkit on Facebook.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Sending you love, and stay safe, stay happy. You've got to finish your day happy. You've got to go to bed with some kind of happiness. I'm sorry, but if you don't, you've wasted a whole day. No. Can't waste a whole day in a time where so many people lost their life. Let's treasure life, and sending you love, and thank you again, Pam. Bye-bye.